What's up, GBA D-League type people? This is Bub. It will be my good pal Mio.
Hey guys, what is up? This is Mio, and I am excited to be here this season for the GBA D-League.
Is week 1 of the weekly recap. This week we saw a bunch of games, and to be honest, some were a lot more exciting than others.
Yeah.
But then again, some results were a lot more unpredictable than others.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like, a lot of these games are super interesting, and already putting the GBA D-League off on to a great start. So let's get into them now.
We're going to structure it similarly to the Pick'em crew. So the way the Pick'ems go, left to right, we're going to do those coaches in that order. So first up, we had two new coaches making their debut this GBA season. The Baltimore Orioles, coached by Choice CJ, versus the Toronto Leaf Storms, coached by OP Jellison. Probably go down in the history of the GBA, as it was one of the first few times we'll ever see CLEFABLE be attributed with 4 kills. The demolition by the Keys to success was given an opportunity when Hooper U set up a trick room and CLEFABLE going for play rough. CLEFABLE take down the Hooper U and Landorus Incarnate before stalling out the rest of OP Jellison's team. It's fair to say Hooper Unbound had a cruise of a performance GBA debut. What did you make of the game, Mio?
So I was actually confused a lot of the time in this one because I think the prep for a lot of CJ's individual mons on Jellison's side was lacking, but also I think it was for something very specific that didn't quite pan out. I see where it was coming from, but in the game itself it just was never going to work out. I think the CLEFABLE set was super good in that scenario as well. I think this game would not have happened like this if for any other kind of team on either side.
I also think that the initial early game momentum with Megaladios and Darmanitan really had on the spook. We talked about how each week OP's really going to be limited towards bringing Webb's offense. This week we did not see Webb's. We did, however, see Heart Swap Manaphy without a water move, boosting move. Also, first time ever I've seen pure physical regular Kyurem in format. Unbound came as well, which was a Trick Room set. Then we have Registeel, which was his Rocker, Florges, which was Defog, if I remember correctly. Registeel did not have rocks. Landorus had rocks, that's right. Whereas CJ brought Darmanitan, Megaladios, then he brought the annoying ass CLEFABLE set, Terrakion, Drapion, and Raikou, which Raikou also picked up 2 kills this game. Wasn't really anything Raikou could not take momentum on.
Yeah, so I don't know, I just keep thinking about that CLEFABLE set, like how he was able to take advantage of the really not that good Kyurem in this matchup. He was able to take advantage of the Hoop Unbound with that Trick Room being the min speed 0 IV CLEFABLE. But I don't know, it's like with the Recycle set too, it just kind of worked out too perfectly for him in some ways, thinking about it, because once he took down the Landorus, CLEFABLE was able to just run through that team without the Registeel actually, of course, but I don't know, this seemed with that early game momentum, having the Darm and Megaladios being able to punch some nice holes or at least get some good info on Jellison's team, I think it is really well played by CJ. He deserves that 4-0.
The next game, Mio.
Next game? Alright. So the next game would be the Calgary Infernape, coached by Aaron 2420, and Texas Rangers, coached by HLD Randy. So this game, I think that overall it was just some really nice momentum into a giant threat on Randy's side that really stopped Aaron from being able to deal with it at all. So with Yuxi being able to get in the Celesteela, and Aaron not being able to keep his Thunderous around to be able to kill it, I think it was just, he was a goner right away. He would just not be able to break down that Celesteela. So, and then the Z Thundy was pretty obvious there. He couldn't do anything with that. Couldn't do anything without that Z on the Thunderous.
So the thing that I really noticed about this game was that when we were talking about the drafts, especially, the one thing that Mira really noticed, and helped me notice because I'm a little bit blind, was Aaron does not have the best Megalock switch-ins. And that's really where the prep, I think, struggled a little bit. He tried to bring Trick Room, and as soon as he brought Trick Room, Celesteela became one of the biggest threats on the planet. Wasted Z move with the strategic sack of Yuxi would allow Megalock to come in and then finish off Thundy. Once Thundy went down, Aaron really had no way to break that big fat Celesteela. Station, Hope Bunny comes back in, OHKOs that. Megalock essentially gets a few quick KOs before Aaron gets to get the satisfaction of killing Megalock. However, the key turn in this battle was when it initially has a bit of momentum setting up Trick Room. However, he brings in the as Yuxi goes for U-turn, and then he goes hard in that Celesteela, and that's where the biggest pain in Aaron's side comes from this week. You're watching the next episode of a Doki Doke thing, and Ruby doesn't come on. It was just like that for Aaron. Poor Aaron. Randy fans will be happy with this. They're looking to pursue this title, and I think that this week one sends a message to all their future opponents.
Yeah, this is a super strong showing by Randy. Just how well he can take advantage of what he has, that Celesteela and Lop core, which, while kind of basic, is also kind of hard to get in a draft, and it just really shows how good those two mons are with how much they're able to dominate in this game, with Lop picking up 3 kills and Celesteela being able to basically wall the rest of his team all over. It was just superb work from Randy. Having the Mammoth Swine being able to clean up the end was also a really nice bring into this game. So overall, I think it was just Aaron, if he wants to go forward, he'll need to have to be able to deal with his opponent's giant threats and actually beat them off, save the Z move for the right mon, have a better defensive line against some strong threats.
Right, for the week for 3 this week, we had the Calgary and Flame Wheels, and my boy Freeze has been requesting we refer to the coach for the Calgary Flame Wheels as Dubious, just because we don't want him to forget his roots, against Turbo Blaze IV, coach of the Phoenix Midnights. Interesting game. 2 new coaches going head to head is always going to be an exciting time. It was a very interesting match because on paper we're going to see some of this, probably arguably one of the scariest Fairy Dragon Steel cores, being CLEFABLE, Jirachi, and Kieran Black, go up against one of the OG NPL cores of Orlando TX, which was going to be a spectacle, I thought. Sort of was a little bit of a letdown, to be honest. The way that both of these teams prepped, I thought it was very interesting by both sides. It's interesting to note that neither side really got many kills, didn't get many kills with one particular Pokemon, and it was sort of a war of attrition. Phoenix Midnights are initially try to set up the Mega Arrow with Home Claws on the P2, and this is where I think the pivotal moment of this game comes in. Home Claws, and then decides to roost as P2 knocks it out with that big foul play. Although in a Revenge Porygon 2 later, it's already too late, because now he's already on the back foot and on the back burner. Pasha Berry nearly picks off the Muscle Band Azumarill, which was another very interesting set this week. The Mega Charizard X, being the 3 attacks variant, also really helped break down Turbo's team. Would probably bring maybe the best set of the match, being the Scarfalola Persian with foul play to finish off the Metagross in the end. It was a very back and forth affair, however Dubious would come up on top, or as my friends say, Deebs. What did you make of the match, Mio?
Well, I think that overall it was more a close game than you'd expect it to be. Like 2-0 is close, but it seemed like Deebs had it on his foot the entire time. But I think what really screwed over Turbo here was him not making the right Emboar predicts. So every time Emboar was in, it made the wrong move. So it was just ultimately worthless in this game when he needed it to be able to do something strong. Like, he needed it to be able to hit the Tapu Fini with a Wild Charge. He needed it to hit the Lando with a HP Ice. But none of that actually came true. So just having that one breaker not be able to beat some of Deebs' stuff down was really heartbreaking for him. But I think he was able to bring it back nicely in the end, getting some nice Raichu check off with that Z-Surf, and then the Scarfalola Persian. But on Deeb's side, he just was able to just play basically pretty normally, just play straightforward and win due to team competition alone.
Right, we may as well get into match number 4 of this game week, and probably the most hyped of individual coming into the D-League this season. The Detroit Butterfrees, coached by yours truly, Iron Flash Gaming, aka Zazzle, against Goldo Dragon, I think it is. The New York EMPOLEONS, coached by Goldo Dragon, I think it is. I don't really remember his name.
That's right.
And I'm sorry for that. Trust me, mate. When it goes on, I've heard you're a good bloke, I'll remember it. Verb does not know things. So this game was hype as we saw the GOAT do things. And when I talk about the GOAT, I'm not just pertaining to Zazzo in particular. This week, we probably saw one of the types come in, being the GOAT against Mega Venusaur. And this was definitely going to be a match for the ages. Zazzo does what he does best. He sets a trap for his opponent. He lets Goldo think he's got the initial momentum. Tells him to think, whoa, look, my Leech Seed Mega Venusaur here is going to be this match. Zazzo switches out from his Zapdos into his Garchomp just to bait a grass move. Goldo has a trick of his own as he goes hard melodic. As Zazzo, easy back into the Golgo. And then the GOAT from the sky, the top rope. You know, it's Matty Brolick's game for a reason. The Go-Goat from the top rope. I don't know, 5-star frog splashes or some WW stuff like that. The Mega Venusaur. The game, essentially. Go-Goat breaks down, essentially, what was Goldo's biggest defensive backbone of his team. Melodic. The Melodic does kill off the Garchomp, however, the one small critic I have of this game is Zazzo could have easily won this with the Go-Go. Decided not to. I don't know why, but that's up to Zazzo. Nice bloke, nice guy Zazzo. Mio.
Alright, so I actually did not watch this game. I realized just before recording this that this one I forgot. But looking at the stat line, I see 2 kills for Go-Go and 0 deaths. And hearing what you described just now, that is kind of impressive to say the least. The way he can set up a trap for his opponent, get that kill, get out of there, and come out with a win very cleanly. That is incredibly impressive. I know Zazzo pretty well from his run in the GBA and the NPL. Sorry, he ran through the NPL from minors up to the majors, going to the finals, but unfortunately lost against the Lizard. He was in minors.
Zazzo only played in the main.
I thought he played in minors. Never. Maybe I know he didn't. He was going to, but anyway, he ran through the majors, got to finals, but lost to the Gypsy King. There's King himself. But I know that Zazzo is going to have a strong run from here on out. But on Goldo's Dragon side, I don't have much to say. But you know, only taking a -3 loss to Zazzo is a feat in itself, gotta say. But I don't know, I think there's some promise for him. He's a great content creator, and he should be able to pull off some wins, or at least some more fun games in the future.
What's some interesting sets? The Superpower Band of Gigalith nearly catches Zazzo off guard, but lucky he's got his Citrus Berry today on Crocodile. The Corkscrew Crash Tornadus nearly comes in clutch, picking off Mega Diancie, but Zazzo, he sees right through their Lizard Skins. Goes into the Slowbro. The Slowbro does pick off the Life Orb Gardevoir with the only cool to see. And now let's get into game number 5. And 2 people who can proudly say that they've got belts to their name from the GBA. The Durham Drodigons, coached by 6-foot hacks. Spell it, but it is 6-foot hacks, versus the Los Angeles Nidokings, coached by TTM Crobat for the win. Last season GBA D-League champ going up against OG champ. And this week I picked Danza because I don't think Leo is going to have such a stellar season this season like he did last season. I think people are overhyping Leo. Was proved a little bit wrong this week. However, I think that when you have no hazards, no weather, no nothing to scout what a Zoroark is, Danza in the early stages of the battle has the offensive pressure. The Mega Gallade looks hot. X scissor on the crest, it then dodges the T-wave, and the LA King sends it home like praying. Kills the crest, and Magina comes in. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I'm not leaving my Mega Gallade in on a Magina. Especially when Magina has the options of like Floor Cannon. But Danza, for some strange reason, prioritizes damage. And it's a big close combat. He wants to get a big close combat hit off on the Magina. Yeah. It was a Scarf Zoroark Danza in the face. And the substitute spam by Leo I thought was a little bit gimmicky, but it is Leo. Frost absolutely does damage to his regen core of Tangrowth plus Toxapex. Ultimately came up on top of this game. However, I think he was lucky to beat such a prestigious member of the GBA.
Yep, so I actually really enjoyed this match overall. I do agree that both sides had a bit of whack stuff on them, but I think it was also really enjoyable to watch. I have been a fan of Leo for about 5 or 6 years now, actually, but that's beside the point. So I think the amount of pressure that Leo was able to put on Danza right after that Gallade went down was really well played. Like, once that Gallade went down, it was all Leo. Like, with the Mega Mini-Champ having the 7 recover, the Rotom Frost especially being able to work with the Z Thunderbolt, I think it was. But I don't know, I agree that Danza really wasn't too hot, wasn't really thinking about any possibility of, even if that was actually Magirna, he didn't think that it could be like a Scarf Magirna or something that would just knock him out immediately. So I'm really confused on that primarily. Yeah.
Also, Danza does make one really nice play in that match where he predicts to recover from Mega Medi and goes hard into Tornadus, but then misses the Hurricane, which comes back to bite him big time.
Yeah, Hurricane's just so unreliable, but I think it's a bit of comeuppance for that Thunderwave miss from Cresselia, which was also huge, but not to the extent of that Hurricane miss, because it ended up that Zoroark came in and killed the Gallade anyhow. But I think Danza still played about the best he could to the very last of that game, once he was in a losing position. So it was super enjoyable to watch. I think both of these players still have good runs ahead of them in this league. Like, Leo, I know Leo definitely has all the talent, and Danza has it to match, so very fun.
And right, so for the last game this week, we have the Executive Chiefs, coached by Melantosh. Actually, I'm going to double check that name, because it's something so weird. Sorry. Is it the XCD Chief Electivires? Oh, fuck.
You'll get it. Yeah, the Executive Chief Electivires.
Yeah, for the last game of this week, we have the Executive Chief Electivires, Melantosh, the newcomer, against one of the fan favorite pink guys in the league, being the Los Angeles CLEFABLE, coached.
Oh gosh.
Oh gosh. Coached by Regulator, or Washed Up apparently. This game might prove to the fans at home, Greg is washed up.
Maybe a bit.
And Melon makes so many aggressive plays that it was so hard to pick a key turn. The flamethrower from Zardwai into the KOing the Tapu Koko, the Gliska knockoff to the big threat of the Strength Snap Victor Bell, which I think would win Set of the Week if we had those things still available. Mego Berry Curse Fire Punch returns to the likes would reign the king this week. The prediction of Mega Scissor on the Snorlax Fire Punch would allow the most broken Mocklin format, being the Mio's favourite Pokemon in format, Zygarde 50, to come in and finish off the game.
Yeah, this
game.
This was a wonderful game just for that alone, I might say. And having that Zardwai was such a good mon to pressure Greg's team like it did. Like, and the way he made all those predictions, and they all basically panned out the way that Melantosh wanted them to, was honestly spectacular. I think it was all a bit lucky that he won all those, he won all those prediction games, but it was also very impressive in that same right. I know that I was muted in a call. I was muted in a call while Greg was deafened in a call while he was playing this game, and that's open knowledge that he does that. But that was also fun to hear that he was getting so pressured by this player. I wasn't too sure about Melantosh's team, even though it does have Zygarde 50 on it. I wasn't sure about the team or about him as a player, but hearing Greg's reaction to what he was doing in the call live, that was incredibly surprising and impressive, just how much that Greg was getting flustered and how much that Melantosh was getting him on that back foot. And I think I think first impressions are very important, and while this isn't my first impression of Melantosh since I have seen him in the GBC, this is a very good first impression for the GBA League.
I think the other thing about Melon game plan that really worked out nicely for him was the Seismitoad coming in and gets the grass from Rotom Wash straight away into that Seismitoad as it comes in, and really Greg struggles to get up his rocks this game. Even when rocks are still up, are still a massive threat. Mega Charizard Y is probably one of the most slept on Megas the whole 4 times a week to rock. However, Melon pressured Greg enough to the point where Char Y picked up KOs while Greg could not get up his own hazards.
Oh yeah, that was, I don't know, that's something I haven't seen from many people, and the way he was able to do that so smoothly definitely shows that Greg is not in the same league anymore as he was last season. He needs to keep himself on his toes at all times and keep himself not able to be pressured like that, because that was honestly a little bit, not embarrassing, but that was kind of a big shock for him, I think, how much he did that prediction game.
Alright, so now we come to the second part of our weekly recap installment, the kill leaders, and as I mentioned earlier, there's only one Pokemon that will reign supreme this week. Hard to believe. You don't have to die on me, but I know it's hard to believe. Yes, Klefki is top kill leader this week, 4 kills, marking a differential of 4 to none. The Zygarde 50 is in second place, coached by your Executor Chief Electivize. I just need to practice of saying that name, to be honest. 3-0. Third is Megalopony, the Texas Rangers, 3-1. Fourth was Go-Goat, coached by the Detroit Butterfrees, 2-0. Yena, 2-0. Mamoswine, 2-0. Raikou, 2-0. And then the rest were 2-1 to finish off the top 10, being Azu, Gliscor, Hariyama. There's also Tornadus T and Zapdos. However, I'm sure we'll see a lot more Pokemon come up each week. Things look like after week 1.
So yeah, it's very notable to see the Klefki up there. We already know how that happened and why that happened, but it's still really fun to look at, I guess. Not much to say besides the rest of the stuff there is kind of normal besides the Go-Goat, but after week 1 there's not really much you can say about a leaderboard.
Yes, so Mio, what are the standings for this week, coaches wise?
Standings this week are CJ with a +4, Zazo, Randy, and Melantosh with a +3. Deebs and Leo, 6 attacks, are +2. Danza, Turbo are -2. Aaron, Dragon, and Greg are -3, and Jellicent is -4. So everyone is matched up evenly here. I think everyone still has a good shot to be able to take anything out. So I think the people who lost this week need to take an extra step next week and try to pick up a good win.
And that is all for Weekly Recap. Make sure to tune in next Tuesday to see me and my favourite Doki Doke, Mio, back again with Weekly Recap to tune into last week's results, find out who is leading the kills. Will Klefki still reign supreme? I pray to heaven it does not. Please, Zygarde 50.
I think Zygarde over, yeah.
And finally, to make sure you check out with the standings, because sometimes, even when you check the doc, the standings aren't there. And until next time, peace.
Peace.